Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Sunday night. It's your boy Boston Capper with Twitterless Steve. We're going to recap a little bit of Pebble, and then Steve's going to give us the waste management preview of the course. Steve, how'd you do this weekend? I know you helped me out with some pretty big showdown winnings with your weather grinding.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Didn't go quite as perfect as I wanted to, maybe just because I have really high expectations. But Friday seemed like it went pretty well for that.
Yep.
Stacking early on Pebble. Saturday, it looked like that was gonna come through. And then so I ended up going on a date afternoon with my wife, so I didn't check my phone at all.
Yeah.
And when I left, obviously I stacked early. I was leading in a showdown. I was like, okay, we'll see what happens. But I expected I probably was going to do pretty well because when I left, that weather was so bad.
I know.
Yeah. But apparently Christian Bezuidenhout took went 5 over his last 3 holes. That doesn't help. Matt McNeely had like 4 bogeys in the back 9. Just missed out on cashing a lot of those single entries. But the worst part of it though was fucking Sepp Straka. Over 71.5 for his 3rd round and 4 birdies in his last 6 holes.
Yeah.
What an asshole. No. So lost a little bit there, lost on some Wyndham Clark stuff for round overs. Was 1 shot off a couple positional. So I lost a little bit this week. I ended up hammering over 262.5 winning score they hung after Thursday's round, which was ridiculous. It was a gift. I should have laid way more on it. So that helped a lot. But Rory just going supernova today. I thought I could get in with 19 under or worse as the winning score, but between him hitting a bomb birdie and the eagle, it did not go well.
When that eagle dropped on the par 5, I was like, "Ooh, Steve's in trouble."
Yes, I was very much in trouble. It's okay. I only had I think like 3/4 of a unit on it. It was not a strong play, but it was like I think 2 units on the over 262.5. So that offset it. Gave a little bit back this week. We're still fine though. The Harris English money from last week is still flowing in. I got to do a little bit better on positionals, but I was pretty close. Also, I'm trying to keep positive too, because when I made my bets, the weather looked like it was going to be just pristine all weekend. So I kind of stacked it for guys I thought would make a lot of birdies, guys who I just thought were kind of trackman golfers. And then when the weather turned, I realized, oh my God, like I picked definitely the wrong guys. Like I would not have picked Sadi Tagala. I wouldn't have picked Colin. I wouldn't have had Sam Burns on the card, but it is what it is. Now we get to go to Phoenix where it's going to be dome golf. We're going to talk more about the weather tonight as far as how that's impacted the tournament. And, but yeah, Rory wins. Your nemesis, although I don't know if he's your nemesis anymore after what's happened.
He's not my nemesis anymore.
Okay, so he's not. All right, so you're happy for him winning. Why don't you expand a little bit on that?
I mean, he looked pretty fucking dominant. It was crazy. I was expecting to kind of fall off yesterday when he had he was going through that bad weather stretch, and he pulled it together. Like the weather subsided a little bit but it was still wasn't great, and he was dialed in. And I had a feeling he was going to run away with it today because Shane never shows up on Sundays. And Straka, man, that dude, I love that guy. He's a head case. That fucking guy is a head case. I love it. Straka's a big boy. It's funny, all the big boys and bad weather guys, man, all up top, except for Tom Kim, sneaky, slow, obviously awful slow play. We talked about that right before we come on, but he looked real good. And I know in the Discord, guys were getting some early price on him. There's no way we're going to see a 45. At least I'm not going to see a 45-1 on him when Hard Rock opens in the morning.
No, definitely not. I mean, with Tom Kim though, because of his limitations off the tee, like, I remember talking about this on my flight back. I was chatting with guys in the Discord when it looked like back then it was going to be really bad weather. So we were talking about like what types of guys you wanted, and my take was, I wouldn't necessarily look at like how you did on paper. It's more like, can you be an adult in these types of situations? Yeah. And listen, I mean, Tom Kim, he does have a top 5 finish at an Open Championship, and I think it was at Liverpool. So That was in pretty bad conditions too.
Yeah.
You know, for all his limitations off the tee, when you're like that, you have to kind of manage your way around a golf course and hit smart shots and don't make a lot of mistakes. And it fits the bill. But that doesn't surprise me that like Justin Rose and Lowry and Straka and like definitely not the TrackMan golfers did well this week. And honestly, Rory's kind of like that too. He's a guy that, you know, yes, he hits it a mile, but he's a golfer. He knows how to work his way around a golf course. And it's no wonder that, you know, in bad conditions, he's able to weather the storm and get it done. So good, you know, good for him.
Yeah, I think Kobe, back to Rory, I think Kobe said it was Wednesday's night show. He said, we say it's not somebody's golf course till it is. And that was very true with Rory this week. So
yeah.
What do we think about Rory this season? You know, he's got the Monahan bullshit off his back. He's not dealing with that anymore. Like maybe we talked about it, you know, hamming him up. So is he going to be freed up this year? Is he going to go on like a Scotty type run? He looked fucking great.
He did. I mean, obviously hitting an ace on Thursday helps the score
obviously
a little bit.
But he didn't win by you know what I mean?
No, he won by 2. No, I mean it was a very pretty, I wouldn't say stress-free because he did hit a couple loose iron shots, which we kind of expected. He's not that great with some of the short irons, but just getting up and down though, calm, cool, and collected. Like there was a noticeable difference when guys were in bad positions off the green, trying to get up and down, and Rory just getting up there and knocking it dead to like a foot. Like that's just so like, that's just such a huge edge in bad conditions where even in just the worst weather and the worst of lies, and you just be able to get up and down, save strokes, and move on. So it's pretty encouraging, but again, you know, we've seen him do it at the Scottish Open. We've seen him do it at Quail Hollow. We see him do it over in the Middle East. It really does. For Rory, unfortunately, the expectations are just so high that it's not going to matter until he does it at a major.
I know.
But, you know, and he's got high expectations coming in for a couple of them. You know, obviously the Masters. We're going back to Quail Hollow for the PGA.
Well, so like I expect like that's like that, to me, that's where I was saving. Like I had that marked down for one and done. Rory, Quail, like that was like this is no brainer.
Oh, of course. I mean, he's probably gonna be just mega chalk that week. So,
how
about just some other guys that did pretty well this week? How about your Cam Davis call? Good job.
Yep.
Should have listened to you a little more. Should have had him on the betting card. Played outstanding this week, though. Yep. Any
did you see that shot against the tree?
You gonna? Oh yeah, that was amazing.
That was incredible.
So I was worried he was going to break his wrist, though.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. I was worried he was going to break his wrist.
Yeah. I mean, he did everything that I thought he was going to do this week. Like, I feel like playing him in a no-cut event is a lot less stressful than when you pay him in a cut event because he can just go off the grid so fast. But man, he missed a couple bunnies today too. He really could have been even more in it. He missed a couple 5-footers less. So, but yeah, he played really well. And I think that we're going to consider him in bad weather too, not because he's Australian, but he mentioned it in a post-game interview about living up in Seattle where it's cold and rainy. So he plays up in the cold and rain a lot. So I think maybe we got to put that little nugget in my brain.
Interesting. I think he also finished top 10 at Oak Hill a couple of years ago, and that had the really bad weather day on Saturday and just pretty difficult conditions all week. So, I mean, the guy, we've been waiting for him to emerge because he has all the skill sets and tools. The guy, he's such a good driver. You know, the irons can get really hot with him. It just always seems like, just like you said, just the mistakes pile up. He can be very sloppy.
Yeah.
But the sky's the limit for him. I would love to see more consistency out of Cam Davis outside of the Rocky Mortgage, those places. So, but he's been playing good. Played really good at Amex. Obviously, played really good here. I don't think he's in the field this week, but he's definitely going to be in the field at Torrey. I bet he's going to be a very popular play because Australians and Torrey Pines. And, you know, he's got length. I bet he's probably going to be pretty shocked there. We also had Scotty making his return this week. What did you think about Scotty this week?
Looked good. I mean, looked like Scotty, right? Like by the end, consistent. Just Scotty, boring Scotty. Like whatever, it's the same. Like, and what a luck box break when he went in the damn rocks and he found the ball and was able to get up and down for that par on fucking Saturday. And keep in mind, I pretty much locked Scotty in all my DFS because the pricing was so soft. But it still irritated. It irritated me inside for some reason.
Yeah, T9. So he gained about 1.7 strokes per hour with approach. He putt pretty well this week. He lost around the green, which not like surprising. Him. No,
so
first, like it's first start back. Yeah. He also didn't play hole number 2 very well all week. Like he, for whatever reason, he kept yanking that approach shot way left the green. And I think on Friday he short-sided himself. I know today he yanked it left of the green. It just, that's the easiest hole in the golf course. You can't do that. But hey, T9, he is a massive favorite at Phoenix for obvious reasons. We'll go over why. I mean, when I break down this golf course, you'll kind of see, no wonder Scotty Scottsdale's kind of basically built for Scotty.
No, it really is.
Yeah, it is. So, and then, you got Jordan Spieth coming back this week. Did not play good, but nice to see him back. I don't know. I mean,
but JT can't play in fucking Morikawa. Those three, I'm done, man. Like I'm done. Like I've been done with Cantlay for a while, and I bought back in this week because of his course fucking history and playing pretty well in the bad weather. I'm gonna chalk it up to Jay Monahan sucking life out of another golfer because he's so involved there. And by the way, can I not see him take another fucking shot? And of course, he had a yellow ball. Of course, Jay Monahan had a yellow ball. Like there is nothing more on brand than that asshole playing a yellow ball.
No, that definitely fits him. But as far as those three, those are the guys that I would say are TrackMan golfers. Yeah. When it's dome conditions, when not a lot of adversity tee to green, where they just know because they've hit it in the simulator and looked down at a GC quad or TrackMan over and over and over what the ball is actually going to do when they hit it, they're fine. But throw some elements at them. JT had that little stretch where he did
where he was good in the wind. Remember, he was shaping all his shots and fucking getting up and down from everywhere.
Yeah, I think the problem he's such a bad putter now that like it just I have no confidence of him hitting like a 5-6 footer for par. No. I think that's a big difference, and he can get really wild off the tee as well too. Like that's not great. So, but yeah, as I mentioned earlier, if the weather reports, if we had that on Tuesday, I would not have Morikawa on my card. I wouldn't have had Tagala. I probably still would have Taylor Pendrith because he played pretty good, and I'm starting to trust that guy a lot.
He top 10.
Yeah, he's been really solid. I know there's the joke in ISN that he's going to win at Oakmont. Saving it for then. But he's been impressive. I mean, the guy's got some length. He's a good ball striker.
Yep.
Maybe I was trying to think where, like, legitimately where he could win. Maybe Valspar.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, like a lot of long irons. Obviously the driver's taken out of his hands, but the driver's taken out of his hands here, and he finished T9.
Yep.
So, scoring's not going to get completely out of control. That's why maybe I might peg him for the win. So, anything else on this tournament before we can? I
want to ask you about the Sam Stevens cat. Like, obviously played well the week before, played well this week. Mm-hmm. Is he for real, or is this just like a flash?
I mean, he's got a lot of length. He's a big bomber.
Yeah.
So
which I didn't play him like much here at all. I played him in Showdown, but I didn't play him week long.
So he's a really good polo putter. That helps. Got a lot of length. I mean, it doesn't necessarily help you here, but when you have a lot of length, you're a really good driver, and then some other parts of your game start clicking, you're going to start doing pretty well. So, I mean, maybe I know that he was a popular pick a couple years ago in Mexico, Vedanta Vallarta, for obvious reasons. Mm-hmm. Maybe that could be one where he picks it off. We go back to Torrey Pines in a couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. I would imagine he's probably going to qualify because they do like the highest point earners not
he'll qualify.
are exempt. He probably will qualify for that. He might be in the field this week. That could work out for him, maybe. So, yeah, I mean, like, we'll say he was a Corn Ferry guy that graduated like 2 years ago. Sometimes it takes a little while for him to get, up and running. Maybe this is him getting a little more consistent. So, definitely somebody still to watch.
Okay.
All right.
You want to get to the drunk open?
The amateur hour open. So, all right. Well, here it is. This is the 16th hole. This is the WM Phoenix Open. Used to be the Waste Management. Now they just have shortened it to the WM Phoenix Open.
Yeah, I got a bone to pick with Waste Management. They used to have the tent on 16 green at Sawgrass, and those guys used to give me tickets, and I used to go to the 16 green tent every year, which is the best place to watch everything because you can see 17. You can watch the approaches coming up on that par 5, and now they stopped sponsoring last year. I was very upset.
So you're upset that they can't give you a free hand-me-down?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
It's not free. I use their services.
Oh, okay. All right, great. What did they just put it like? Did they just tape on top of your toter? Say like, here you go. Here's your free tickets.
No, you got to talk to your rep.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So, all right. Well, here's some general course notes for it. This is a Tom Weiskopf and Jay Morris design, designed in 1986. Another Tom Weiskopf golf course on the PGA Tour. TPC Craig Ranch also did works at Torrey Pines North. The only major renovation came in 2014, but they've done several little tweaks over the years, like, maybe some more shaved down areas. It's been subtle changes over the years to kind of make it a little tougher for these guys and, kind of spotlight the tournament. And it's been very exciting and very successful, obviously, over the last couple of years. Average length, about 7,200 yards, par 71. There's only 3 par 5s in the golf course, but the 3 par 5s extremely gettable, especially at altitude with no wind. It's very vital to birdie those holes. We'll talk about one of them in a little bit. It's very crucial that you don't screw that hole up down the stretch. Average green side, these are really big greens, about 7,100 square feet. And, there's not a ton of undulation, but where there is, there can be little shelves. Like I think, what's it? There's one.
Like isn't this super easy putting?
Yeah, for the most part, it is. It depends a little bit on the weather conditions, and we'll talk about it a little bit. But there's one par 5, I think it might be 13, where there's basically 2 huge sections divided by a shelf. And if you're on the wrong shelf, the ball sometimes might like roll off the green. So, but overall though, they do play a little firm and fast because obviously you're in the desert. There's not a lot of moisture going on. They can get kind of quick, but yeah, there's not a ton of undulation to these greens other than when it's kind of quartered off a little bit in different sections. It's not like a lot of tilt to these things. All right, the green speeds, that's last week, so ignore that. So agronomy though, so we're back to overseed this week. We got a ryegrass and fine fescue overseed in the fairways and rough. The rough is only 2 inches overseed. Now this is a change. This is the 3rd year now that's been lower rough, and I'll show you in the stats a little bit. There was a change in the penalty of
missing the fairway,
and it really has something to do with this rough. It used to be like 2.5, 3 inches. And I remember actually this was the big blow up fight that you and I had, where I was trying to make a point about how I thought that them lowering the rough was trying to encourage a better leaderboard to kind of like spray it everywhere. But you just kept wanting to go back to like Keegan. And I completely just blew up at you at this point. But this is the 3rd year of that. It's only 2-inch ryegrass rough. That's
not stopping shit.
No, I mean, you kind of saw it this week too, where with the Poana rough, where if a guy got in there, you can still see the ball. Like it's fine. It's not like the 4.5 inches that you might see like a Quail Hollow, where it definitely would cause some trouble here. It's nothing. The greens is the Poa Trivialis and ryegrass overseed though. That's a little different than the overseed you see in some other places. I think the ryegrass is in there because it's waste management. They want it to be as green as possible to pop. Like it just looks it just looks so lush and green throughout the entire golf course. And I think that's by design because, obviously waste management, they're green, they have green initiatives. It's kind of a theme to it, but the greens roll really, really good with this overseed. One thing the GCSA did note though was, kind of like with the rest of the West Coast there, it's been extremely dry. I don't think it's rained there in 140 days.
Damn.
So, which, you think, okay, well, no shit, Sherlock, it's a desert, but
That's still half
in the
a year.
winter,
That's almost 6 months.
yeah, but around the winter, like, they can get some rain. Like I remember the final round that Ricky won, it was like a monsoon. Last year got a lot of rain to the point where they actually had to stop play for a little bit.
Yep.
So rain can happen. So this is going to be a very firm and fast golf course. But what they also mentioned though was it definitely took a while to get the overseed right on the greens. Because, obviously when you plant it, you got to water the hell of it. Well, if there's not a lot of other water helping it, you just got to keep water. It was hard to put it down. But some other overseeded greens in the PGA Tour, PGA West that we just saw with the Amex, TBC Sawgrass, Innisbrook, Austin Country Club, last year's Houston Open, Memorial Park, TBC San Antonio, TBC Louisiana, Quail Hollow. As I mentioned at the Amex show, sometimes when you get to some of these overseeded golf courses, depending on the time of year, Harbor Town actually is another example. That's not on this list, but Harbor Town's an example where it's kind of later in the year. You sometimes start seeing the Bermuda start popping up because it's a little warmer at that point, where you can apply chemicals to keep it dormant, but Mother Nature just takes over at some point. So then you start seeing the grain of the stuff. We're still too early in the year for that to happen. Overnight lows are still getting in the low 50s, high 40s, and
still dormant.
That's not enough for the soil to really get warmed up. So the Bermuda starts coming up. So this is, true POA overseed, with the ryegrass in there. Guys, like you mentioned, really easy putting. A lot of that has to do with the overseed. It's like putting on a carpet. This place, guys love it. So, all right, let's go over just some holes though. So obviously this is a very famous golf course. We all think about, the 16th and Super Bowl weekend, exciting tournament. Well, the front nine though, is kind of shitty. I'm just going to just lay it out there. It's pretty boring. A lot of just everything's really right out in front of you. The only adversity is really just like a bunker. It's about like 290 to 300 yards off the tee there. There is some opportunity though to incur a lot of penalties. Like for example, this is the par 3 fifth right over here that I'm circling. And we'll talk about this with the missed fairway penalty. If you're offline, you can be relatively fine if you hit it in the desert over here, but you see all these cactus bushes. There's some dry creek beds.
Who was the one who got stabbed in the ass?
Oh, Xander. Xander got Xander got he tried to I think reach for his ball or something, and he got some cactus quills there. So, but otherwise though, kind of a boring front nine, not a lot of excitement. But the real reason why we love TBC Scottsdale is because it's a really exciting back nine. There is a lot of opportunity to flip the tournament, go on runs, make a lot of birdies coming down the stretch, but also incur some penalties. And I'll show you some examples right now. So here's a really tough two-hole stretch of TBC Scottsdale, the 11th and the 12th. So the 11th is probably my favorite hole, at least driving hole on the golf course, because this is usually we get the early morning coverage on Thursday for PGA Tour Live, and you see guys teeing off on 11, and this fairway is basically unfair. If you hit it down the left, it's going to hit the ground like it's cement and just bounce right into the water here.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great. It's tilting if you have somebody and they hit into the water, because you can make giant car crash numbers on this hole. There's water next to the green too. So pretty much when you see the Pro Tracer, if it's a little left,
you panic
and the fairways are firm, it's going in the water. So you see guys just bail out way right here just to avoid it. And then the 12th here, obviously you got some water around the green here too when it's really windy. You can definitely see balls balloon up in the air and land in the water here. Yeah, this is a 2-hole stretch where, let's say you're cruising along pretty good. You can definitely screw things up here. I think actually, remember 2021 when it looked like James Hahn was going to win?
Yes, dude. Yes. Yeah, dude. Me and my entire Super Bowl party, I made everyone who didn't bet on golf. They were still hanging at 90-1, remember?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the entire party bet it. And we were all sweating it for about 10 minutes.
So I think this is where he screwed up that tournament.
It was.
I think he was in the right rough here and he hit in the water 11. I think he hit it on the water in 12 too.
Yep.
So, and then that famously was when you and I were texting and like no one wanted to win that tournament. And Brooks was hanging like 20-1 live.
Yep.
Like, why don't we just hammer Brooks here? Like he's the only one who wants to win. Yep. And then he won. He chipped in for eagle. That was nice. That was a nice fun. Little good fun. Score on Sunday there. So let's go across the pond though. This is the 15th hole. So this is where things start getting really real. Obviously, if you're on the 15th hole, you start hearing the cheers from the 16th, reverberating around the golf course. Again, though, this is while, if you hit 2 really good shots, pretty easy opportunity for birdie. There's a lot of danger on this hole. Obviously, you have water all the way down the left here. Webb Simpson hit it in the water in 2020 here, and I had a bet on Finau, and it looked like Finau was going to win, and then Finau, I think, blew a 3-shot lead with 3 to go. Typical Tony Finau stuff.
I forgot about that.
You forgot about that? You didn't bet him probably.
I didn't. I never bet Tony. I'm not a Tony guy.
No, definitely you are. Well, I was back then. I kept betting Tony over and over and over, and Webb Simpson ended up getting me that day. But obviously, get the water left. But you see guys bail out a lot to the right here. Kind of towards this this car path here. Now the problem though is like sometimes it's kind of a mediocre lie. You see guys take their medicine, they just hit a wedge to here. Other times though, you'll see guys just be complete morons and try and carry to the green here, and either they'll hit in the water or they'll get stuck in this bunker, can't get up and down.
Yep.
It's kind of like take your medicine. But if you hit the fairway, though, it's basically a green light to go for the green. This is obviously down the stretch where guys getting a lot of birdies down the stretch. You have to birdie this hole.
Yep.
If you realistically want to win this tournament. So, but there's a lot of danger lurking. Obviously, you got water. This might be a layup. You hit bail out, right off the tee. So, a lot of excitement can be had on this hole. All right. Then the 16th. Wow. What a hole. What just a marvelous par 3 here.
All right. Sometimes things can just be fun, Steve.
Yeah. I mean, look at just the architectural masterpiece, this thing. Just, you got the 4 bunkers all the way down, all the way around the green here, 2-tier greens, some tight lies. Oh, just beautiful. So, no wonder everybody thinks that this is well, not everybody, but I had a fight with one of my friend's buddies who claimed that this was the best par 3 in the world.
No, that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
That's the dumbest thing I ever heard. I told him that, but listen, this is what the mainstream public thinks, because they're not ISN listeners, because what they think about the 16th hole and why it's the greatest thing ever is because of this bullshit right here.
Yep. Exactly.
Obviously, the sky boxes, you got the morons dressed like, Sesame Street characters. You got everybody throwing beers on, the hole at, they did that after Sam Ryder hit the hole in one, which granted was great, but then they started doing it after everything.
Was close, yeah. And last year was such a shit show because of the delay. These motherfuckers absolutely just got pass out drunk, awful. It brought out the finger wagging police, right? Which I'm immediately against, whether I agree or disagree with them. Like we can't have alcohol. All right, well, let's not completely change the tone of this tournament, but yeah, I don't know, man. They say this younger generation doesn't like to drink as much as we did. The Waste Management Phoenix Open says otherwise.
Yes, it does. I mean, this is amateur hour. Cam, our producer, made a comment about, am I a boomer for not wanting to go to this tournament? And I think in my early 20s, I would have wanted to go to this thing. I'm just, with all the testosterone and like the frat atmosphere. Yeah, of course I would want to go. Now, 2 kids and upper 30s. No, I'm good. This is amateur hour, but this is what the identity of this tournament really is. It's the party. And it's good for once a year. You've seen other tournaments try and replicate it. Like
can't do it.
National tried to replicate it. TBC Craig Ranch tried to do something similar. The Canadian, when they do the Canadian Open, the hockey rink, that's okay.
Yeah, I thought that was fine. I like that.
Yeah, that's fine. But some of the other ones though, like doing like the party whole, like I don't know, like Liv tries to like do that. Whatever. So, but I mean, obviously the 16th.
I like the next hole is my favorite hole on the course.
Well, that's the thing. It's just a really it's not a complicated hole, but it's a good good closing hole. A drivable par 4 with some water left here, tight lies around the green, a big huge green too, where you can tuck pins in certain places. Yeah, like if it's run firm and fast as well. Like I think this is where Saad Tagala lost the tournament in 2022, where it was a front penny and he went for it, but the ball just he overcooked it a little bit. It ran to the water here.
I can't remember if we had money on Hideki or we were rooting against Hideki when he fucking chipped it into the water.
That was a while ago.
Yeah, I can't remember if I was happy or sad. That's what happens with the memories.
Well, that was before us. Yeah, that was before even I was writing about golf. I think when Hideki was winning.
No, that doesn't matter. Whatever.
Okay, so there's been some big moments at this hole.
Oh yeah,
Ricky Fowler running it through the green to lose to Hideki. By the way, I think that was 2017. Yeah, Brooks Koepka chipping it for eagle on this hole. You had, let's see, actually the Tony Finau year. I remember it was the reason why he lost. He chose to lay up off the tee and laid up into the center line bunker.
Oh, I do remember that.
Unbelievable. I was apoplectic.
That's what you get for laying up.
Yeah, just bail out right over here and get up and down, get your birdie, win the fucking tournament, dude. He laid up into the bunker. So, I mean, Brandon Grace also was in contention, I think, in 2019, hit one in the water over the left here.
He's an asshole, so no one cares.
I know you don't like him. So, but I mean, this is a very fun hole where you can see car crashes or birdies, and that's really all we're looking for towards the end of a tournament. Just something exciting to kind of flip the leaderboard, give us some late drama. Give your outright sweats a little bit of hope, or just crush them into a million pieces. This is the hole for you. So, and then the 18th,
boring.
This is more bark than bite. This hole, because guys nowadays can just blow it, especially if there's a tailwind, way past.
And they just hit it into the goddamn stands because they know they're gonna get fucking relief.
Yeah, I mean, they just hit it either all the way over here or they just clear the entire bunkers. I can only remember maybe only a handful of guys in these church peak bunkers over.
Yeah, that's not even in play anymore. I can't tell you the last time I saw anyone.
No, it isn't. I mean, you're just basically aiming all the way this way, and it's just a short wedge in. So, before guys were bombing at 330, 340, yeah, this could be kind of like a dramatic hole coming down the stretch, because it is a 300-yard carry all the way to church peak bunkers, but these guys aren't even aimed that way anymore.
Nope.
So. But we've seen, some late birdies on this hole. Nick Taylor last year birdied this hole to get into the playoff. Yeah. I think they played this hole over and over on 18. And I think he birdied it every single time. So, yeah.
Nick Taylor's a closer, by the way.
What's that?
He's a closer.
Yeah. He drinks a lot of coffee. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, I think only you.
No one. No. I wonder how many of our people get that reference.
Probably not. If they don't, then they're missing out.
Don't go watch Glenn Ross and educate yourself, people. Best salesman movie ever made.
Takes brass balls to sell real estate.
That's right, baby. I need a
All
good
right.
lead.
Yeah, it is a good lead. The Glengarry leads. All right. Let's go over average scoring. So this is kind of all over the place. Couple years, you see some pretty average, good scoring. 1.2 under par here, 1.7 under par here. Other years, 2022 and 2020, those are kind of like the baseline years. About like 3/4 under par. We'll talk about why, where there can be a lot of birdies to be had on this golf course, but there's a lot of opportunities to kind of like shoot yourself in the foot, to temper scoring a little bit. 2023 though, that was kind of an outlier year. Really difficult scoring that year, and it's all kind of weather related.
Yeah.
So I dug into it a little bit. I'll tell you kind of reasons why high level, especially 2021, 23, and 24, why that happened. So last year, 2024. So remember the opening day, it was really cold.
Mm-hmm.
It was windy, and they got rain and actually like stopped play for a little bit.
Yeah.
But after that, though, the wind kind of died down, and it was a soft golf course. It already had received a little bit of rain before coming in. So after the opening round, which is played pretty tough, these guys just lit this place up.
Yeah.
So I think like average scoring was like 1.5 under par the rest of the way. So pretty easy scoring conditions. In 2021, there wasn't a lot of wind, which helped. There wasn't any rain though, but I noticed it was unusually humid that year. And kind of like, and by the way, for anybody who loved the weather stuff that I was breaking down in the Discord,
I certainly did.
Yes, a lot of people did. I kind of put my neck out on a few of that stuff. I mostly kind of, and it worked out in some ways.
Definitely worked out, dude. Friday it worked out. I cashed huge, and then Saturday I still made a little bit of money. So whatever.
All right, well there you go. You didn't have Bezuidenhout then at that point.
I did not. I'm a never Bez guy, bro. You know that. Come on.
And well, that helped you that week. But so there was some wind on Thursday, but kind of like where the Masters, where any moisture that it can suck from the atmosphere into the greens just helps a little bit. It was unusually humid, and that made it pretty receptive to greens, and scoring was just really good the rest of the tournament. Yeah. So,
and that was still,
it really comes,
and that was in 2021. It was still all the big dogs coming too.
Yeah,
so it was the elite players who got those conditions.
Yeah, so actually, the raw score is 1.7 under par. If you adjust for field average, it's like, take like a worse field, like 1.25 under par. But it would have been one of the easiest tournaments of the year. Yep. Versus in 2023, one of the hardest of the year is because they got like 20 or 30 mile per hour winds like 3 or 4 days.
Yep.
So comes down to that. In most years, in 2023, 2022, and 2020 played pretty firm. 2023 got a lot more wind, so that made it a little more difficult. 2024 and 2021 it played a little softer. So that's something to keep in mind for this week. Look at the weather forecast. Now, the weather forecast this week, obviously, is going to play firm because there's not going to be any rain. There's no rain in the forecast. It's dome conditions, but there's also no wind. And it's going to be warm, too. We'll get to some of the driving distance stuff, like numbers in a little bit. Like, it's tough. It's going to be tough to kind of, like, what's going to counteract it? Like, is it just no wind or the firmness? I'm going to say just because there's no wind, probably that's going to prevail.
Yeah.
So, but I had a couple days to kind of think about that. And obviously the weather forecast can change, kind of like how I made an entire betting card on a opposite weather that we are actually going to get.
I love my text Friday morning after we were talking about Showdown all Thursday night. And I wake up to a text. Never mind everybody who's going off early off of one.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. Weather forecast.
I'm driving to work, trying to fix all my Showdown lineups and not die.
Yeah. Although it turned out actually the original theory of going off early at Spyglass also would have worked for you too.
Yep, it did. I had a couple mixed models where I did a couple of the better guys off of one at Spyglass and the guys going off of Pebble. I think actually those might have done better than just the straight Pebble guys.
I think it did because Spyglass did pretty good that day. Yeah. But once, like, if you had later tee times, like you got smashed that day. So, all right. So how about like by category? Other than last year, which primarily is because it was a little colder, and you couldn't get the ball out as far because the fairways were a little softer, this is a pretty easy driving golf course. In 2023, that's when they reduced the rough to 2 inches. So the missed fairway penalty, we'll get to the next slide, went down a lot. But overall, though, it's, your ability to gain strokes at TPC Scottsdale is a lot more than the average at the golf course, primarily because everybody bombs it out here. The average driving distance is huge. We'll get to it a little bit. So that helps. Also, what helps too, well, I'll say that for the next slide. Approach play, though, it's kind of hit or miss, and it basically is dependent on how soft these greens are. Last year, when the greens were pretty soft, it was one of the easiest with approach shots. Same thing in 2021 because of the excess humidity, it was able to be a little more receptive. But in 2023, when there was wind, it was one of the hardest golf courses for approach shots because when you get firm conditions and wind, even though these greens are really big, it leads to longer putts, harder to get to the pin. And then it's still fairly difficult in 2022 and 2020, kind of normal years. So this all is dependent on how much moisture is going to be in the greens because they're going to play pretty firm. It's going to be pretty difficult approach shots. It's going to be hard to get close to the pin, with your approach shots.
No.
Around the green, kind of a similar story. When it was a little softer, a little easier conditions around the green, like in 2021 and 2024, a little harder in 2023, 2022, and 2020. So I'm not sure why it played a lot harder in 2022 and 2020 compared to 2023, but still, just point remains. More receptive greens, a little easier to get up and down. When it's firmer, it's a little difficult. Yep. Putting, though, kind of all over the place, mostly, though, pretty easy. Possibly in 2024.
It's worse field.
Maybe. Well, yeah, it was worse field, but this is just your ability to gain compared to other PGA Tour golf courses. It's not necessarily field strength.
That's true.
They could have prepared. They could have made, maybe they rolled it a couple more times. Maybe the greens ran a little faster. I don't know. It's kind of all up and down, though. But overall, though, it's not the most difficult place to putt. But if we'll get to in a little bit, well, actually, no, it's not on the slide. When the approach shots are a little harder and it's hard to get to the pin, there actually is a higher rate of 3 putts at this place because the greens are so big, the ball can just kind of go everywhere.
Which is so funny. I was going to ask you about that because I was looking at your model and I was like, how come he's got 3% or whatever it was for 3-putt avoidance? And in my brain, this is just such an easy putting place. I was like, why does he care about 3-putt avoidance here?
Yeah, so I think the PGA Tour average is 2.8%, and here it's 3.75%, 3-point, like the percentage of times you 3-putt. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it's still higher.
Yep.
So that's in the model there. All right, let's talk about the off the tee stuff. So as I mentioned, there was a higher missed fairway penalty up until 2022, and then they cut the rough, and then it plummeted. Basically, by how much the average score plummeted with the rough penalty is about 0.8 strokes.
Yeah.
And once that happened, the penalty for missing fairways kind of really went away. And it's for a couple of reasons. One is there's not a lot of rough, penal rough at Scottsdale anymore. Also, this non-rough penalty, this is kind of like when they hit into the desert, complete crapshoot. Like that 1 year Jordan Spieth couldn't find the club face and he just luck boxed everything when he sent it out to the desert. Like he was just fine. Yeah, I mean, you're hitting from basically a flat lie with no rough and just on some dirt, pretty much. Yeah. Or you can find a cactus bush. So the penalty percentage, though, for tee shots that miss fairways is actually one of the highest in the PGA Tour. You got water, you have the ability. If you do send it into the desert, it could theoretically, incur a penalty, shot there. So that's the only place really you can get in trouble off the tee is if you hit in the water or do a cactus bush.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a luck box. One thing that's interesting, though, is the penalty rate last year was a lot lower. And I think that's correlated with the average driving distance was a lot lower last year. And I think it's just because the less far you hit it, the less chance it can go into the desert. So I think that's why the penalty rate went down a little bit. Also, softer fairways. You can see that, in 2024 and 2021, this is where you really see it. where the drive actually rates, guys are able to hold fairways a little more.
Yeah.
In firmer conditions, it goes down to like 53%. So how it's going to play out this year, you're going to see big driving distances because it's going to be warm and it's going to be firm, but the drive actually rate is going to be like close to like 53%.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be, because it's going to be very firm fairways. And like on hole 11, unless they like take a watering hose to the landing area there, if you send it left at 11, it's going in.
You're dead.
And you're gonna see guys basically go on tilt. So
I'm gonna have to look at like miss left percentages on these guys so I can try to avoid some pain over the weekend.
So funny enough, your friend who you questioned their validity, Data Golf, they actually collected, I'll have to dig it up for you, the percentage of when guys bail out away from trouble. Is it left or right?
Oh, I like it.
So on this hole,
right,
and maybe one of the reasons why I saw it to Gala does really well, he tends to bail out way right.
Okay.
But here on 11, that's fine. So, or on 15, that's fine.
Yeah, that's true.
Or on 17.
And 17.
Yeah. Except for when he hit a rope hook.
It's in water.
Yeah. All right. Approach statistics. You know, obviously in 2023, when it was really winning conditions, the green regulation rate was a lot lower. In 2024 and 2021, it was above 70%. So more receptive greens, higher green regulation rate. And then that also affected the difficulty in like approach shot, like how it was that year. So pretty difficult approach shots from under 150 in 2023 and 2020, really easy from 2024 and 2021. Again, really just depends on how soft and receptive these greens are. They are not going to be soft and receptive this time of year, so expect for a lot harder approach shots in tournament, which was not the case in 2020 and 2024. So I guess kind of like if you're thinking of like a reference point of how this tournament's going to like look ball striking wise, ignore 2024 and 2021. Probably ignore 2023 from the standpoint it was like really hard. Like probably 2022 and 2020, those are probably like good like comp years, I would say. So proximity buckets. So every single year, and this is one of the reasons why I think Scotty is so good here, because he just is so good from 150 to 200. Big, like higher concentration of those approach shots from this particular range. About 42% of your shots are going to come from 150 to 200 in the tournament. If you throw in 125 to 150, that composes about 67% of your shots. Your shots 225 and above, those are basically your par fives. So, and there's not a lot of shots under 100 yards. No. Not a lot of shots under 125 yards. It basically is just confined to like 125 to 200, and then your par fives like shots. So, that's where you want to basically target for your proximity buckets this week. In my model, I kind of, because I didn't want to just focus exclusively on 150, 200. I just took all the ranges and then just weighted it differently based on the percentages.
By the way, these BetSperts models are like the nitty gritty shit. Like, I was very impressed.
Thank you. I got to make some tweaks to it because I looked more at the weather, and I think some inputs I had to it kind of want to change, especially with like difficulty of approach shots and one other area. It's probably not going to change it that much, but I want to perfect it. So I will do that by Tuesday.
I can't wait to play around with this stuff tonight.
Oh yeah, it's
and my wife's going out of town for work this week, so there's going to be nothing going on Monday and I got baseball practice Tuesday night for my godson, but other than that, nothing but dicking around with these fucking bottles.
Wait, you got baseball practice on Tuesday night?
Yeah, it's pre-show, dude. Pre-show.
Okay. All right. It's a very important show that night.
I know.
All right. Around the green statistics. So chipping from the fairway, one of the toughest on the PGA Tour. Obviously, when you're chipping off of tight lies on the firmer surfaces, it just ups the difficulty. Last year, it was a little easier because a little softer greens. Same thing a little bit in 2021, but most other years are pretty difficult getting up and down from the fairways.
Yeah.
The rough, though, especially because they cut down the rough to 2 inches, virtually non-existent for difficulty last 2 years. So that's what you want to really focus on. Only the last 2 years, because it was a little harder the previous years because it's a little thicker rough. Now it's not there. One of the easiest to get up and down from the rough in 2023, what he easily got up and down for the rough in 2024. The thing is, though, there really isn't a lot of rough around a lot of these greens. A lot of either tight lies or bunkers.
Yep.
Pretty much. And again, with the bunkers, though, this also is affected by green receptiveness. In 2024, the greens had a little moisture in them. Pretty easy getting up and down from the bunkers. Same thing in 2021. But one of the hardest in 2023, a little bit from the wind too, but pretty difficult in 2022 and 2020. Both really firm years. So when you're looking around the green stuff, ignore 2024, ignore 2021, focus on the other 3 years.
Don't let me pick Gary this week.
What year did he almost win?
2023.
No, it wasn't that one. No, there was another year he lost in a playoff too. Or no. Did he beat Ches Reavie in a playoff?
Oh shit, that must have been fucking forever ago.
That was a while ago. Yeah, that's before. I would do the last 5 years. So
yeah, that's fine. I just think of Gary out of bunkers and it gives me fucking nightmares because I think I had him like 150-1 on something, and he was 2-shot lead and fucking couldn't get out of the goddamn bunker. I don't even remember what course it was.
All right. Well, I mean, when he won here, that was pre-lobotomy. So
yeah, good for him, by the way. Thank God. Crazy.
Yeah, good to see him back in fighting and everything. And then putting, kind of all over the place as far as I'm trying
really
to.
Is.
Yeah, I mean, it's fairly easy from under 5 feet, except for last year for whatever reason.
I tell you, it has to be strength of field. There's got a bunch.
No, it's not strength of field. It's just adjusted for just the ability.
Oh, it's adjusted for field strength.
Yeah. It's not that. It's just how compared to other PGA Tour events, like how guys are doing in that area, like gaining strokes or losing strokes. And for whatever reason, it was really tough last year, and I don't know why.
No.
So I might have to dig into that a little bit. But like from under 5 feet, historically pretty easy. 5 to 15 feet is kind of all over the place. It might be maybe in the firmer years, possibly easier pin positions. In the soft years, maybe harder pin positions.
Yeah,
possibly. I don't know, but that's the only really way I can explain it. I don't really know. It's kind of all over the place. So I didn't really put as many inputs for putting this, like any customized stuff in the best first model. Like the last couple of weeks, like on the Poana, like, all right, really difficult game from under 15 feet consistently. Really difficult to gain from over 15 feet consistently. Here, it's kind of all over the place. So I mostly just focus on just like weighting like certain things, like kind of like basically. So, which we'll get to right now. So the course fit stuff. Let's start with the course fit model over on the right here. So guys who tend to have above average distance, guys who tend to have above average accuracy, guys tend to have about above average approach play, average around the green play. Good putters really do well here, but you talk about why Scotty Scheffler does really good at TC Scottsdale. It's because he's basically good at almost everything. And that's his place.
Who were the last 5 winners? So we had Nick Taylor.
You had Scotty, you had Brooks, and then you had who's in 2020?
Scotty's not a good putter.
He's really good on the overseed, though.
I guess.
So let me actually look it up. Who won in 2020? It was.
Can't remember who did anything last year. Taylor. No, that was last year.
Oh, it was Webb Simpson.
Okay, he was a great putter.
No, Webb Simpson last year.
Yeah.
Or in 2021.
2020. Yeah, he's a great putter.
So, but like especially from the ball striking statistics, Sky's pretty much good at like. He's not. I wouldn't say other than approach play, he's absolutely elite.
Yeah,
but like he's not the longest guy, not the most accurate guy, but like he's just good at everything. So and you see some of the related correlated golf courses, like Olympia Fields. We finished second there. Bay Hill, he dominates there. Oak Hill, he finished like top 5 there.
2023 block party there.
It was. That's the official name of nice. The 2023
with the picture behind you.
It is.
I don't know if people have recognized that.
I don't think they have. It's pretty small. So, but TBC Boston, he's done really good at. Memorial Park, he's done really good at. So just a lot of driver heavy golf courses
Well,
where Scotty's just had a lot of success. It's kind of that. But this is, this is a pretty good list there of, it's one thing about Scottsdale as well. It's not a complete birdie fest. So a lot of these kind of fit the bill, other than TPC Boston, which turned into a complete joke. When the last time they went there, I think DJ won at 30 under.
DJ won, but other 568 under.
Yeah, or TPC Deer Run, but that's a driver heavy golf course with actually higher missed fairway penalty. Like, well, I guess that doesn't really fit here because there's the low missed fairway penalty, but there's a high penalty rate. So,
yeah.
But yeah, those are some like comp courses to the Scottsdale there. All right, so last couple of years, 2022, the year everybody had Scotty. Everyone bet Scotty. Did you bet Scotty in 2022?
I don't know. Probably not.
His first win? You probably didn't because you're like, this dude never wins. Why would I ever bet on him?
Yeah.
Well, you got stuffed in a fucking locker, sir.
I did.
So this was actually, I had Scotty and Cantlay on my betting card.
I think I might have had Xander.
You might have, I think you did have Xander, and he blew it. You probably had Brooks too, because which is all Brooks. Yeah. But this is the only time I've ever had it went to a playoff and I had both guys.
Well, we had a playoff where it was 3 guys and you had 2 of the 3.
Yeah, but I didn't have all the guys, basically. Yes, I don't want to talk about that stupid tournament. TIO. 2 horrible drives, just luck boxing.
Luck box motherfuckers.
Get out of here, Ricky. Mr. Rocket Mortgage.
So gross.
Awful. And I disappeared for 2 months. But anyways, this was when Scotty got his big win. That was a giant community win for everybody. Everybody got their Super Bowl money.
Yep.
Before it's, they probably
not me, Mr. Contrarian. Gotta go against the crowd all the time.
Yep. So this was a very satisfying win though. So I went on the podcast and I made Scotty the one and done pick, and I think I single bulleted him that week.
Sounds right.
At like 12-1, and he won. That was extremely satisfying.
I remember.
Although he took a very shady drop on 16.
Super shady. I remember texting you angrily about it because I think I had Rom.
You did. I mean, Rom kind of
he fizzled.
Flatline, But this was the Nick Taylor versus Scotty show. And I was like, is Nick freaking Taylor going to win this? Like, what the hell is happening? But he missed a putt on... Or no, he couldn't get up and down on 16, I think. That was what really sealed it. Then I think Scotty had another birdie on maybe 18 to win it.
Taylor didn't get up and down on 17.
Oh, okay, maybe that was it.
It was 17. I remember it. Yeah.
So, no, he missed some putt on 16. Maybe it was for birdie on 16. It was a short putt for birdie on 16. That might have been it. And
that makes sense. The crowd booed. Yeah.
So, and then last year, the Nick Taylor redemption story. Where it looked like Charlie Hoffman was going to win this thing.
Yeah, then you already was Charlie Hoffman, but they call this the Charlie Hoffman Open, man. The guy just plays well here.
Well, he's sponsored by Waste Management. Yeah. So I think I bet Burns and I bet Novak and Kitayama. So they did well, but Burns was never going to win. He was like 7 back getting in the final round.
Burns is a loser.
Yeah, I needed him to birdie 18 today to cash position. He couldn't do that. Yeah. So, but as I mentioned, if he wouldn't have been on my betting card if I knew it was going to be bad weather, but whatever. So that's a me problem. Well, actually, it's a weather finder. That's a wind finder problem.
That's right.
That point. All right. So here's my model. I'm going to make a couple of tweaks, but I don't think a lot's going to change. I mean, obviously, I do kind of like a longer range model. The best players are going to be towards the top. So Scotty's number 1.
Sungjae at 3.
Sungjae 3. Sungjae just is.
He's like herpes for you, bro. He just never goes away.
I haven't bet on Sungjae.
I'm just saying
on my cards.
Okay.
I haven't because of that.
Sure, you shadow bet him.
No, I haven't actually.
Okay.
So, no, I think I bet him positional at Century, and I think that came through. But I didn't bet him at Amex. I didn't bet him at Torrey. But because I think it's the last 50 rounds, because 40% of my model is like form. So last
Yeah.
50 rounds, last 16 rounds kind of split out that way. And we're now going back with Sanjay to like towards like July last year and then start of this year. And it's been pretty solid golf. So, and now all that bad stuff they did in the first half of 2024 is now completely out of the model. So yeah, that's why he shows well. Like, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
So, and he's been good here. So Burns is 4th, Justin Thomas is 5th, Corey Connor 6th, Kirk Kitayama 7th, who everyone at ISN's betting him.
Yep.
I'll probably end up betting him, but that seems like a bad idea, but I probably
It's a no for me, dog.
I'll probably succumb to peer pressure. But chalk Kirk Kitayama seems like a
never good
idea.
Never.
No, that seems like
but
a
here's
bad
the thing:
idea.
is he going to be chalk, or is he just going to be chalk inside of our bubble? You know what I mean? Like that's what we gotta. I'll troll the Twitter streets and see if he's popular out there. Too.
I am pretty confident he's going to be on the tip chart. And I'm bad at that game. I'm pretty confident. He said,
"Yeah, what happened? You were good at that game last year. You suck at it this year."
I don't know. Maybe I'm just not in tune. Maybe I'm just not in tune with what everyone else is betting.
Yeah, whatever. You cashed the win in the first 3 weeks. Who gives a shit?
That's true. I have. So I guess it doesn't matter.
Daniel Berger. How far back are you going?
He had a good fall, and he's got good course history here.
Loser.
Horseshoe had a good
Billy Ho, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, he had a good finish today. He's got a couple top 15s there. Siwoo Kim, Keith Mitchell, Thomas Dietrich.
Oh, Siwoo finally looked like Siwoo.
I know. Maybe this is where you want to get back on board and possibly.
I think I might.
We'll see. Has he done anything at this tournament?
No.
Okay. You know who hasn't done anything really much of this tournament? I'm surprised. Wyndham Clark.
Yeah, this should be his place, huh?
Well, it's not a lot of short.
He misses wild though, so when he misses big.
So that's why I looked into it. He's never gained off the tee here.
Yeah,
because it seems like a problem for him.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, think about LACC with that fucking giant duck hook right somehow stayed in fucking play so he could beat Rory for a major.
Yeah, but he ranks pretty well in this model. Maverick McNeely, Max Grazerman, who's
Dietrich. Get Dietrich off of all your models. No fucking hat, this kid. Fucking, he's like one of the best pull-up putters in the world. He could manage a minus fucking 5 this weekend. Cocksucker.
Okay. Matt Fitzpatrick, who's terrible. This is why I think I got to tweak this model. And Alex Smalley is 20th, who actually is playing pretty good.
Yeah, he's playing.
So that might be a little bit of a sleeper.
Yeah.
So
fucking Gracer.
All right. Well, that's the end of that.
All right.
So we're done.
All right. So we got Tuesday. We're covering those tournaments. We got the live tournament going on, playing under the lights. And then we'll have our betting show, which has been good for like walking through and like I'm sniffing around. I'm getting close, and my DFS is looking good because I think of these talks, as well as obviously the Discord. But yeah, I would like to hit a winner before the Super Bowl so I can bet it all on Kansas City and the referees.
I mean, you are due. You do.
I am.
Yeah. I think what was the last winner you had?
I don't even fucking know.
We'll just say it was Shriners last year pre-ISN because
Yeah, I haven't hit shit at ISN. But we've only been here since fucking.
That's true. It's only I think your time's coming, sir. We've been going around the same. This week it was Kobe's week. By the way, everybody at ISN, all the stat picks, we all faded Rory. Big face. But Kobe, Mr. Rory himself, congratulations. Big winner this week. Cash a giant score. He speculated he might be done betting at this establishment now that he had a big ticket. So
he's done. He's done.
But
he's always got Circa because Circa respects sharp bettors and will take their money. So Mr. Jeffrey Benson will still take his money at Circa.
Well, congratulations to Kobe. More faith than everybody else, apparently.
Yep, absolutely. I'm pretty sure he's still down lifetime. He loves himself some Rory. But I think this could be the year of Rory. I think Kobe could be buying a beach house somewhere if it goes the correct way. Yeah, looking forward to it. Tuesday night, get it together. Hopefully we can avoid Scotty, man. That's it. I mean, we're just trying to avoid the Scotty train because he put 2 times winning here, rounding back into form, knock the rust off. It's a little terrifying, but still gonna shoot my shot, and I'm certainly not betting fucking Scotty 3-1 because that's too good for us golf bettors. We scoff at 3-1.
Yeah, but if it's a 3-1 Super Bowl prop, we're heroes, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. But yeah, all right. So back on Tuesday, BK show. Tomorrow night, you got Bear Off and Andy's DFS show. At some point in the afternoon, they go live on Twitter. And that's it, man. Other than that, we'll see you motherfuckers on Tuesday. Bye.